Greetings, greetings, greetings on this good Sunday, June 19th, 2022. June 19th, Juneteenth, Freedom Day. In celebration of Freedom Day for Africans around the globe, I'm going to tell an old story. It's an old story. See, life, humanity began on the continent of Africa, and so the stories began there too. And this story is called a story. And Africans say things 3 times to give it emphasis and meaning. And this story is in honor of those stories that began in Africa but got twisted up and turned around, and the credit has not been given to my African ancestors. This story is being retold in memory of them. Ashe. Once, oh, small children round my knee, there were no stories on earth to hear. All the stories belonged to Niami, the sky god, kept in a golden box next to his royal stool. Ananse, the Spider-Man, wanted to buy the sky god's stories, so he spun a web up to the sky. When the sky god heard what Ananse wanted, he laughed. Chee. The price of my stories is that you bring me Osebo, the leopard of the terrible teeth, Mboro, the hornet who stings like fire, and Moesha, the fairy whom men never see. Ananse bowed and answered, I shall gladly pay your price. Chee, chuckled the sky god. How can a weak old man like you, so small, pay my price? But Ananse merely climbed down to earth to find the things that the sky god demanded. Ananse ran along the jungle path, till he came to Osebo, the leopard of the terrible teeth. Oh, Ananse, said the leopard, you are just in time to be my lunch. Ananse replied, as for that, what will happen will happen. But first, let us play the binding game. The leopard, who was fond of games, asked, how is it played? With vine creepers, explained Ananse. I will bind you by your foot and foot. Then I will untie you, and you can tie me up. Very well, growled the leopard, who planned to eat Ananse as soon as it was his turn to bind him. So Ananse tied the leopard by his foot, with the vine creeper. Then he said, now, Osebo, you are ready to meet the sky god. And he hung the tied leopard in a tree in the jungle. Next, Ananse cut a frond from a banana tree and filled a calabash with water. He crept through the tall grasses, Sora, till he came to the nest of Mboro, the hornets who sting like fire. Ananse held the banana leaf over his head as an umbrella. Then he poured some of the water in the calabash over his head. The rest he emptied over the hornet's nest and cried, it is raining. Should you not fly into my calabash so that the rain will not tatter your wings? Thank you, hummed the hornets, and they flew into the calabash. Fum! Ananse quickly stopped the mouth of the gourd. Now, Mbora, you are ready to meet the sky god, said Ananse, and he hung the calabash full of hornets onto the tree next to the leopard. Ananse now carved a little wooden doll holding a bowl. He covered the doll from top to bottom with sticky latex gum. Then he filled the doll's bowl with pounded yams. He set the little doll at the foot of a large tree where fairies like to dance. Ananse tied one end of a vine round the doll's head, and holding the other end in his hand, he hid behind a bush. In a little while, Moesha, the fairy whom no man sees, came dancing, dancing, dancing to the foot of the large tree. There she saw the doll, holding the bowl of yams. Moesha said, "Come, baby, I am hungry. May I eat some of your yams?" Anansi pulled at the vine in his hiding place so that the doll seemed to nod its head. So the fairy took the bowl from the doll and ate all the yams. "Thank you, Gum Baby," said the fairy, but the doll did not answer. "Don't you reply when I thank you?" cried the angered fairy. The doll did not stir. "Gum Baby, I'll slap your crying place unless you answer me," shouted the fairy, but the wooden doll remained still and silent. So the fairy slapped her crying place. Pah! Her hand stuck fast to the Gum Baby's sticky cheek. "Let go of my hand or I'll slap you again. Pah!" She slapped the doll's crying place with her other hand. Now the fairy was stuck to the Gum Baby with both hands, and she was furious. She pushed against the doll with her feet, and they also stuck fast. Now Anansi came out of hiding. "You are ready to meet the sky god Moesha," and he carried her to the tree where the leopard and the hornets were waiting. Anansi spun a web round Osebo, Mboro, and Moesha. Then he spun a web to the sky. He pulled up his captives behind him and set them down at the feet of the sky god. "Onyami," said Anansi, bowing low, "here is the price you ask for your stories. Osebo, the leopard of the terrible teeth, Mboro, the hornets who sting like fire, and Moesha, the fairy whom men never see." Niami, the sky god, called together all the nobles of his court and addressed them in a loud voice. "Little Anansi, the Spider-Man, has paid me the price I ask for my stories. Sing his praise, I command you." "From this day and going on forever," proclaimed the sky god, "my stories belong to Anansi and shall be called spider stories." Shouted all the assembled nobles. So Anansi took the golden box of stories back to earth, to the people of his village, and when he opened the box, all the stories scattered to the corners of the world, including this one. This is my story which I have related. If it be sweet or if it be not sweet, take some elsewhere, and let some come back to me. Many things have been taken from Mother Africa, and not enough has been given back in return. So on this Juneteenth, I say this story out loud, giving back the story of the original Spider-Man, Anansi. One of the stories, there are very, very, very many. Something that I was told as a child, a story that was passed down. And again, on this Juneteenth day, this day of freedom, this time of knowing and remembering, let us remember who we are, give honor to who we are, celebrate who we are at the core of our being. Ashe.